This is the reaction to the politics.
Yeah, yeah. So this is all this sort of digital surveillance and the all the things that they're doing to restrict our lives. You know, with the net zero policies. You know, do you believe there's a climate emergency? Do you believe it?
I don't know.
It's hard to know. Oh, I've just written a book on it.
Yeah. Can I take some footage?
Yeah, of course you can. Do you want me to speak to your camera?
Green and just yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. So what's your name? Sorry.
Jane Frank.
Hello, Jane.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Neil McRae, and this is my new book, Green in Tooth and Claw, and it's on the climate change propaganda. They're trying to make everyone scared that we've got this prospect of imminent ecological doom, and we need to have all these net zero policies to stop people from driving, control what we eat, basically restrict our lives in almost every way. And it's all based on a scam. There is no climate emergency, and I'm one of several scientists who have signed a petition. This is it here. I'm one of 1,860 expert signatories by scientists, including some who've won the Nobel Prize, who know that the climate change, the global boiling as they're calling it, is a hoax. And it's a very, very serious thing, because it's really being used to create a global technocracy, a two-tier society in which there'll be an elite, a rich elite that will be able to live as freely as they like, and they will own everything, and we below, the masses, will own nothing. This is what they want, this is what they're creating, and they're just using green ideology as an excuse to do this. So if anyone's interested, please get my book. It's on Amazon, selling well, and this is a counter narrative, and you'll find a lot more truth in here than you get on the BBC.
Yeah. So, but what do you think about the election result? Because it seems the Liberal Democrat and Labours are increasing, so and they stick to this ideology. You say.
Yes. Well,
so
the fact is that all of the mainstream political parties are following the same agenda. They pretend that they're different. They pretend that they've got different ideology, but when they're in power, they all do the same thing. And you only need to look at countries in Europe, for example. Some of them are right-wing, some of them are left-wing, many of them are centre, but they all do the same thing. It doesn't matter what political colours they've got.
Yeah.
They all pursue the net zero policy. They all did the same with COVID. They're all doing the same with gender ideology, like transgenderism and critical race theory. They're all following the same agenda, which is all about disrupting the status quo, getting rid of traditional society and replacing it with a totally controlled digital surveillance system where everything we do will be monitored. This is one of the reasons why, or the main reason, why they're trying to get rid of cash. So they'll tell people it's about convenience, right? But the real reason is that when you pay by card, I'll just let that bus go past. When you pay by card, the government, private companies, know what every penny that you spend your money on.
Yeah.
There's no privacy. No privacy. And eventually they'll be able to, when they have a fully fledged digital currency, they'll be able to control what you spend. They'll be able to put limits on certain foods, alcohol, or other services. They're certainly going to limit people's ability to go on holiday, people's ability to travel outside of their area. This is all coming. I mean, it's already being done in China, which I think is being used as a laboratory for a social credit system that is going to come here, and to some extent we've already got it here. So things like removing cash, younger generations have been told, oh, this is modern, this is the way we do things now. We don't have coins and notes in our pocket, we pay for everything with a card or by their phone. Usually it's with their mobile phone, isn't it? But that's it's not being done for their benefit. It's being done for the benefit of the people in power, who will use it to, wrest total control over people's lives, over what we spend our money on. We'll have no privacy, total surveillance, and what we're doing today, being here and giving out these newspapers, the light newspaper, is trying to help people to see what's going on, help people to wake up.
Yeah.
And we've certainly got a lot more awake people in Bexhill now.
Yeah. Are you from Bexhill, or are you based here?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And can I ask you about the GB News, because this is also mainstream now, but okay.
Sorry.
So the GB News, the agenda at the GB News is a little bit different than the other media.
It looks different, but
isn't it?
I think ultimately any mainstream media is controlled, and you only need to look at what's happened with some of the presenters on GB News.
The Bojo, do you
such
mean?
as Mark Stein,
Oh.
Lawrence Fox. Anyone that says too much will get dismissed, and so they only allow criticism of the establishment up to a certain point. They don't allow proper critique of the New World Order, of the agenda behind what's going on. You'll very rarely hear GB News talk about the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab. You won't hear them talking about chemtrails, which people are increasingly get worried about the skies. Why are the skies clouding over consistently? Today is a little bit brighter, but almost every day this year it's been clouded over, and that's unusual. We're now 5 months into the year, so people are asking questions now. It doesn't mean that they're right. We can be suspicious, we can have speculations about what's going on, but we'll get things wrong. This newspaper here is all about questioning the whole narrative around climate, around COVID, around democracy and freedom. And I think if people read this newspaper, they will at least start to think that things aren't right, the way things are being done. That it's a setup. It's a total fix. The apparently democratic system, where it looks like you've got Labour and Conservative opposing each other. No, it's just changing the wallpaper. That's all it is.
And what do you think about the Reform UK party? By the way, I was quite surprised because the results, because they have quite high preferences, just around 15-16%, but but yesterday or today, when I was just watching the results of elections, they haven't their candidate almost anywhere. So
yes,
why
of course,
is it?
do yes. Are you interested in? Oh, sorry. Are you interested in climate change? Oh, okay, right.
So
I do get the impression that he is someone who's awake to what's going on, but I think he probably wants to look and see at what nonsense we're spouting in our in our free paper. But anyway, we want everyone, people, whatever their views, we want people to have a look and see what just have a different view of what's going on. But you were asking me about
Reform
again.
UK, and Reform UK. What do you think about Reform UK?
My view of Reform is the same as my view of GB News. They are some kind of opposition, but a very controlled opposition. They will only go very, very limited way. For example, Reform Party isn't questioning the support for Israel against the Palestinians. They're not really questioning the Ukraine narrative. They supported vaccination with COVID-19. They're not questioning the climate crisis. So are they really an opposition? I don't think so. They would only be something slightly better than the Conservative Party, I think, and that's not good enough. We need people who are genuinely going to change what's going on.
And what about the Workers' Party? Because it's also just something new,
Yes,
relatively
well,
new.
I'm quite friendly with George Galloway, and George Galloway was somebody who in the past I would have disagreed with everything about him. Now I'd say almost the opposite. I don't quite agree with him 100% on everything, but
Of course.
I think he speaks a lot of truth. And it's funny how he's always been portrayed as some kind of extreme figure, but he's the one that's calling for peace in Palestine. He's the one that's calling for peace in Ukraine. He's the one that's calling for an end to this open borders immigration. He's calling for British workers to be protected, and he's calling for what I believe is quite policies that in the past would have been seen as eminently sensible, but now they're cast as extreme. So yes, I would certainly prefer to support George Galloway's Workers' Party over the Reform Party, which I don't think is effective opposition at all. But George Galloway, you can see how much he's upsetting them. You can see how real he is, because they're really getting worried about him and his party.
I think he upsets everyone, the labourers as well. And
Yes, that's right. That's right. He does. Yeah.
Do you think the Workers' Party one day can take a lot more voters from Labour Party? Because Labour Party seems to be creating itself to the catch-all party. What do you think?
Well, I think Labour's biggest threat is that Muslim voters and also a lot of white Labour voters who are disgusted by what's going on in Palestine, they will not vote Labour under Keir Starmer. So that's their biggest threat. I don't think Reform is much of a threat. Reform is a help to Labour because they'll take votes away from the Conservative Party. I don't think they're a big threat to Labour. But to be honest, politics, elections, I can't see that that's the answer to our predicament, because the system is set up. It's a two-party system. It's almost impossible for anyone else to win other than Labour and Conservative. So it swings from one to the other, and it's very, very hard to break that. I hope somebody does break it, but it certainly won't be Reform Party that breaks it, because they are just a milder version of the Conservatives. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.